What is going on, fellas?
What is going on, fellas? What is going on, fellas?
Sorry about that. Had to set the volume on YouTube like lower. Let me see you in the comments and make sure that the comments are working. And also let me know if you can hear me well, so we could just get started. Hello, Lewis. Okay, so it seems to be working. Seems to be working reasonably well. Hello, Ibrahim. Sure, go ahead. In the meantime, I want to say that this is not going to be a very long session. It's probably going to be up to 45 minutes. And what I want to do in this session is to actually do a little bit of Python and then maybe go through a challenge on Attack Defense Labs. Does this sound like challenging to you guys? Hello, Jusk. So is the stream coming out alright? I mean, does it feel like it's laggy? I don't think so. I mean, on my end, it seems that things working really good. The connection seems to be excellent, so you should be hearing me well. Alright, awesome. Let's then waste no more time. So, what do you guys think? How many of you are good with Python, or how many of you are actually how many of you actually know a programming language? Let me know in the chat. So Lewis says, I've got some background experience in cybersecurity through some summer courses. Jusk. So just to interrupt a little bit here, you say you're talking Python. Well, you may be helping me not embarrass myself when we're going through the Python challenges in a bit. So Lewis says, I've got some routers and Raspberry Pis at school, and we're looking to experiment and set up a server network and let the younger kids do challenges. Where would you recommend the basic course to learn networking? But it can take ages due to my exams. Well, I've said it. I think I've said it in previous live streams or in previous talks with Hackersploit Alexis. You should go to Cybery. So Cybery has a lot of courses. There was a very slightly older course. I'm not really sure if it's still on the platform as of now, but there was a course, a very good course on networking by Leo Dredger, and I'm gonna try to find it. I know it's one of the first courses that have been on the platform, so I'm not really sure if it's still there, because from what I know, Leo Dredger is not an instructor on Cybery anymore, but I'm gonna try to look it up. Hope that answers your question. So go to Cybery, even though that course might still not be. So if that course is not available, I'm really sure they have other courses that other networking courses that are good in there as well. Okay. Ariel Kalanga, hello. Do I need burp suit to become a pen tester? No, you do not need burp suit to become a pen tester. All you need is will, power, and a lot of nerves and a lot of patience to get through the process of actually learning everything it involves to become a penetration tester. I mean, I've done quite a few videos on the channel with respect to best books on penetration testing, top free courses on penetration testing for beginner penetration testers too. So make sure you look into those. Lewis, you current programming in Java as well, by the way. Awesome. I would like to know Java at some point. Java was the language that I tried teaching myself when I wanted to get into programming, and I failed like 4 or 5 times. And I have given up on Java, and I thought I've given up on programming altogether up until I decided to give it one more shot, and that was when I decided to try to give a shot on programming by learning Python. So if I would have probably been, I've probably would have never actually learned program if it weren't for Python. I don't know why Java seemed so hard for me to start with. Can I use Java in cybersecurity? I'm pretty much sure you can, but I'm also really confident that if you know Java, it's going to be extremely easy for you to actually learn Python, Lewis. And Python is going to open many more doors in cybersecurity than Java will. That is my understanding as of right now. How much years or how many years it takes to be good at cybersecurity? It depends. So, take me for example. I still consider myself a beginner in cybersecurity, and I have less than 2 years of an experience in the field. I feel that I need to keep on learning a lot to become good, but I don't know. It depends on how much you put in, how much work you put in every day, how much time you spend on learning, on actually doing courses, and most importantly, how much time you spend on hands-on practice. Whether if we're talking about CTFs and stuff, I hate CTFs. I mean, I don't like CTFs. I like real-world challenges such as the ones on platforms like Attack Defense Labs, for example. Or if you don't want to pay for a subscription, you could try teaching yourself cybersecurity and penetration testing by actually testing live targets, as in bug bounty programs, and that's probably the best way to learn cybersecurity and penetration testing. And it's probably the one that's gonna get you farthest these days because it's gonna be the real thing. You're actually hacking real targets with their permission, and if you find something, you might also get a reward for that, a monetary reward. So think about that. I mean, we're living in probably the best, we're starting to live in probably the best days for penetration testing and cybersecurity, because unlike 10 years ago, when you would have basically very few options to do sort of like on point training, now you could do hands-on training and live training on live targets legally with their permission, and if you find something, they actually gonna pay money for your findings. Think about that. Okay, fellas, so keep asking your questions in the chat. So we're 30 minutes in. Let's actually do a few Python challenges on Add a Bit. So I'm gonna share my screen with you now. Also, let me know if you can still hear me well enough, loud and clear, and with no lag. Because as of according to Streamlabs, my connection is really good. And with no lag. Alright, so let's move to add a bit. I don't think we did this one, so let's just start with something simple. Divides evenly. Given two integers a and b, return true if a can be divided evenly by b, return false otherwise. So this should be really simple. We need to specify whether or not the first parameter divides evenly by the second parameter. A will always be greater than or equal to b. Alright, so for some reason my phone triggered voice recognition. So anyways, this should be as easy as if a modulus b equals 0, return true, else return false. Control enter to run it. Passed all tests, submit final. Okay. Alright, so we could have done this easier. Let's actually look for other solutions, see what other people did. What's up, AppD? Could you do some matrix exercises like find a word in a matrix? Okay, Gorilla, I'll look for that in a minute. So what is it that we have here? Okay, so this is epic. I'm gonna vote for that one. It's a one-liner. Always gotta love one-liners. Now let's go back. So continue. Some matrix exercises like find the word in a matrix. I'm not really sure if I get that. Can you please explain further? I'm gonna try to look for matrix here. Let's see, matrix, vectors, math. We have some math challenges. Do we have machine learning? No. Arrays. We have arrays, algorithms, conditions, cryptography, logic, recursion, scope, whatever you want, guys. Just name it. So I'm waiting on you, Gorilla. AppD, would Python be the only language needed to learn pen testing? You don't need to know any language to actually learn penetration testing. You could do just fine in penetration testing without actually knowing how to code in Bash or Python or whatever language of your choice is. But as I keep saying, and I'm always gonna repeat this, you will have a very big advantage if you know how to code in Python or Bash as a penetration tester or as a cybersecurity specialist over people who do not know how to code. Okay, so it's better to know how to code. And I'm not really sure why you're even asking this question, Abdi, because I kind of get the feeling that you don't want to learn Python or something. It's really easy. I mean, if I could, or if I can learn Python, I'm pretty sure you can too. And I actually failed, like I said earlier, I'm not sure if you were here. I actually failed like 4 or 5 times when I tried teaching myself programming using Java, and I couldn't even get it. So it was only when I started with Python, I tried teaching myself Python since it was so easy to understand. The syntax was so clean. It was only then when I actually started to learn programming. So yeah. So you're saying I kinda don't, you got me, I'm struggling to start. Not really sure what you're saying there. Yeah, yeah, as Jusk says, coding will make your life easier. It doesn't even take that long because right now you have like dozens of very good free online courses on all the platforms. So, like I said, go to, for example, I think it was, I just showed this resource the other day, Real Python Learning Paths. So check this out, Python Learning Paths. Take this one, Introduction to Python. It's free, it's like mostly text resources. So you have installing Python, interacting, basic data types, stuff like that. Python tricks, strings, lists, and tuples, all the goodies. If you get through this entire thing, I'm pretty sure that you'll have a good start with Python. And even before you get into this, I'm always saying that it's better to learn something by actually doing it, and this actually applies extremely well to learning a language. So in this case, you would go to sololearn.com, and they also have a mobile app. This is completely free. So you go to sololearn.com, and then you sign up. I'm using a Yahoo address over here. So this is all free. And you go and take the Python 3 tutorial. Okay, so learn on the web. And they also have like a mobile application that's really nice and neat. So for example, let's go to functions and modules. These are all like very tiny lessons. Any statement that consists of a word followed by is a function call. Here are some examples. Okay, and these are Python built-in functions. So print range is a Python built-in function, string range, of course, and then then you have like interactive exercises. How many arguments are in this function call? What do you say? These are the arguments. How many of them are they? They are 3. Okay, moving on to the next one. Let's say modules. Let's not go with module. Let's say functions as objects. And then you have, what is the output of this code? Shout word, return word plus exclamation, speak equals shout, output equals speak, of shout, print output. So what would be the output of this code? What would you say? So we'll define a function called shout that's going to return the word plus exclamation. So any of these 3 could go because any of them terminate in an exclamation. Then we say speak shout. So we kind of like instantiate this function into this variable, which is interesting. And then we create another variable of this variable with the argument shout. So then we have shout of shout. And the output, it's gonna be shout plus exclamation, right? That's it. Okay, so make sure to go look into Solo Learn to actually get started with Python. Yeah. Alright, guys. So, what about that matrix thing, Gorilla? Did I lose you? Are you still here? Let's actually move forward. So we were on this one, divides evenly. We completed this one. Let's do a couple more. Yeah, you don't want to be a script kiddie, of course. No. So Abdi, you're asking, isn't Python a data analysis language? So how would it directly apply to penetration testing? I'm not really sure where you heard this from. Python, of course, it's used a lot in data analysis, but Python is actually you can do anything you want with Python. There are like probably thousands of libraries and modules that help you with data analysis, but similarly to that, there are actually maybe thousands of modules in Python that can help you in cybersecurity. So let's take, for example, one of the built-in Python modules, like the socket module. So import socket. The socket module is actually used for network communication, so you can create sockets. You could create a simple application or a simple server to communicate, such as Netcat. Not sure how many of you know Netcat, but you could do an implementation of Netcat in sockets. So yeah, socket is one of the modules that's used in cybersecurity. Then there's also Scapy, which is used for packet analysis. There's also requests, which is used for web requests, as well as Selenium. And then there's beautiful Soup 4, of course, and many others. But anyways, Netcat is the Swiss Army knife of networking. That's right. So you perform also any more advanced streams. What do you mean? Like advanced hacking. We can go through advanced challenges on Attack Defense Labs, but I want to actually start with some of the basics because I know that many of you guys, and also I'm just gonna be completely blunt and honest here. I don't consider myself a very like advanced guy in cybersecurity or penetration testing. I do feel like I kind of suffer of the imposter syndrome in the sense that I feel that I have a lot to learn when it comes to penetration testing and cybersecurity. So why would I actually pretend that I know advanced hacking when I consider myself that I'm actually not there yet? I might be one day, but I currently do not feel that I am there yet, but I'm working my way there. Hope that answers your question. What is web scraping? Well, actually getting information from a website, that is web scraping. Like for example, you could use Python for web scraping with beautiful soup and requests, two of the libraries that I've mentioned previously, and you would be able to extract and analyze and do whatever you want with the data that you get from a website. That is web scraping. Hello Graphy or Graphy. Hello Conrad. Alright, so let's get back to add a bit. Smaller string number. Create a function that returns the smaller number. I mean, what the hell is this? See if you can do this without converting to integers. So the simple answer to this would be return the smaller number. So return min int n1 int n2. Let's see. "21 should equal to 21. You have to make it a string. So after you converted it into an integer, then you convert it back, you have to convert it back into a string. This could take a few lines of code, but what would be the easiest way to go with it? Let's see. So we have, let's say, minimum equals min, and then you'll simply say return string of minimum. This is probably a two-liner, but what would be a one-liner? And also, what would be a one-liner without converting to integers? What do you guys say? You can convert it. So Jake, I thought you couldn't convert it to an integer. You can convert it, but as it says here, see if you can do this without converting it to integers. Jusk, well, actually, sure. I mean, why not? Send me an email or something, or send me a message on Twitter. Okay, so guys, what do you say? How would you go about this without converting it to integers? Is that even possible? Abhishek, hey, when and where did you start it at all? What do you mean? Okay, so how would you do this? Can you actually do this? N1 let's look for comparing strings in Python. Would you actually say, like, for example, return true if n1 smaller, return n1 if n1 smaller than n2. So this would actually compare those two. Can you do an else like this? Else elif? I don't think you can. Let's see if this actually works. It's an invalid syntax. What if you say if n1 smaller than n2, return n1, else return n2? Can you do a comparison like that? That's odd. Numbers will be positive. 1500 should equal 16. What is that? So in Python, if we compare, if we have two strings, if we have 1500 as a string smaller than 16, it says true. But why? That is my question. Anyways, we'll not waste too much time on this one. If you don't yeah, it didn't work. It compared the length of the string, of course. Return n1 smaller than n2, n1, n2. Yeah. But let's actually see what the others have thought about it. What was my solution to this? This one. Okay. Moving on. Let's view other solutions. Key integer. I didn't know that the minimum function in Python, the built-in function has a parameter called key. So if we do a help on minimum, we see iterable key equals func. That's interesting. You live and learn. Alright, let's vote this one. And continue. Yeah. Okay, fellas, do one more and then, so we're 37 minutes in. Let's do a quick one. Let's do another quick one and then try to do a penetration testing challenge on Attack Defense Labs. You're right. So hopefully this stream is coming along without buffering and without interruptions. Okay, one more. Generate a countdown of numbers in a list. So we have loops. What function? So I'm asking you guys, what am I gonna use here? What big I'm actually giving it away. So what kind of loop am I gonna be using in this simple challenge? What do you say? I don't think you need a for loop here, Jake. It's the other one. There are like two very big loops in Python. Hello, Zed. Thanks for the love. Yeah, Michael, of course. Hey, Mike. Glad to see you. I didn't. You didn't send me a message. We should do a live. Everyone, Michael here and I were actually gonna do a live penetration testing on some, probably on some Hack the Box or on some Vulnhub machine, which is more like real life scenario, because I don't like the CTF-ish one, and I'm pretty sure Michael doesn't like it either. So been sick. Well, hope you get like well soon, Mike, because the holidays are here and you have to be up and running for partying. All right. So, create a function that takes a number as an argument and returns a list of numbers counting down from this number to 0. Okay. In this case, what we need to do is to actually, so we have a while loop. Okay. We'll have our number. We first have to instantiate the number. Let's say count equals start, and then while. We don't even have to do that, do we? Let's try without actually instantiating it as a variable. So we'll say while start smaller than 0, greater than 0. Does it have to be greater than or equal to? It's always going to be greater than or equal to. So while start greater than 0, we'll have to let's create a list. So this is like the very messy solution. We'll have to create a list that holds the numbers while start greater than 0, list append start, and then we update start minus equal 1, which is equal to, so this actually means that start equals start minus 1. So this is where we update the variable. Otherwise, this is gonna get into a infinite loop, and then finally we're gonna return the list. But like, this is a very ugly solution. Look at it. 2, 4, 5 lines of code. 2, 4, 5. And I don't even know if it's correct. Let's see. It's not. So 321 should equal to 3210. Return list. We could simply say return list. We could list append 0. Can we do that in one line? None should equal to 3210, which is none. We should update the list, list append 0, and then return list. Even uglier, 2, 4, 6 lines of code. But it's correct. So 0 start minus 1. That's a one fucking liner, huh? Let's see if that works. You don't even need a while loop, come to think of it. You can just simply, as you said, return a list. So I'm actually going to copy your solution here. 0 start minus 1 being the, so you're saying 0 to start with the minus 1. So we go from, it's actually the other way around, right? Isn't that start 0 with the minus 1? So we have the starting point, we have the end point, the 0, and then we have the step, which is minus 1. Let's see. I think we went into this kind of thing the other day. So there should be a very similar solution to this one. Start all the way up to, so is it start minus 1 or start minus 1 or start 0? You wouldn't have to specify the step. So let's see what that means in Python here. So we have 10 all the way up to 0, invalid syntax. 10 all the way up to 0, still invalid syntax. If we do like that, it's invalid, it's invalid. What am I missing? One reverses it. Okay, but you're saying 0 start minus 1, but 0 start and minus 1, but this doesn't work. Does it? It's an invalid syntax. So when it comes to lists, you have to specify, so you're specifying the start point Jake, that's kind of too long. We need a one-liner here. So let's say this is actually the index. So this is an invalid syntax because this actually, we don't have any defined list. So in this case, we have a starting point. Let's say start equals 10. All right. So in this case, we'll have a list that goes from start all the way up to 20. Still an invalid syntax. Start 20. What if I say start int 20? Still an invalid syntax. Yeah, because it takes the index. But if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I say 1 to 5, it's going to go from the first element to the fifth element, not from the integer 1 to the integer 5. So this is going to actually print 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or not. What the hell am I doing wrong? let's look into lists. Go back to the basics. So Python lists. We need integers. I didn't define this as a list. I should have instantiated it. So we're going back here and we're saying list underscore equals this, and then if we say list from 1 to 5, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 2, 3, 4, 5. So in that same circumstance, we have to define a list underscore that goes from start. Can we do that? From start to 0. Let's see. List underscore equals 10 to 0. Can I do that? Invalid syntax. Still. Alright, back to the drawing board. So lists Python integer range. That's what we're looking for. Return I for I in range. This is a list comprehension graphy. I for I in range 0 start 10. Yeah, that's a smart answer. So if we implement that, I for I in range start 0, yeah. So instead of using the start to 0 minus 1, of course, what we actually tried, we wanted to do here was to apply the range parameters or the range method to lists, which wasn't probably the smartest thing to do. So you're saying a list comprehension I for I in range start to 0 with the -1 step. So in this case, the range function in Python, if we look here, so help range, it has the start, the stop, and the step. And if we provide a negative step, it's going to go backwards. So in this case, it's going to start with the start, it's going to go to 0, and it's going to have a -1. And I'm not sure if I have to instantiate this before returning it, but this is a one-liner, and it might work. It didn't. -1. We also have to append the 0. What if we do -1? We could do that, right? Yeah, that actually did it. Okay, so Graphy, that's all yours. Thanks for that. Alright, so how many minutes? We are 53 minutes in, and I said that we're only going to be 45 minutes in. Shit. But since I promised, let's do a quick penetration testing challenge, real life penetration testing challenge on attack defense. It should probably be an easy one. So, attack defense. So last time we were on infrastructure attacks, Apache, and we did Apache 1. I think I did Apache 2 some time ago. So let's just keep on doing them in order. I also have Parrot OS security in here just in case we need. I'm gonna start this one just in case we need to use something from Linux. It's been like probably 4 or 5 weeks since I started experimenting with Parrot OS instead of Kali Linux, which I've been using for the last 2 years. I wanted to see how it compares to Kali Linux, and I was skeptical when I started using it, or before I started using it, but I want to say that I'm pretty much satisfied with Parrot OS, and I think it's more visually appealing graphically compared to Kali Linux, but that might simply be a subjective opinion. But anyways, I do enjoy it, and I plan on using it like, I don't know, indefinitely. We'll see. So Apache is probably the most popular web server with millions of deployments. We hope to explore how attackers can exploit web apps running on Apache, arising due to server misconfigurations and or application vulnerabilities. The target server is hosting a web app. The web app is not vulnerable. Okay, good to know. But the directory listing enabled on the server. But the directory listing is enabled on the server. You guys on Attack Defense Labs need to learn grammar, and that can lead to sensitive information leakage. Your objective is to log in into the web app as admin user and retrieve the flag. Let's go to the lab link. And this is the web application. I think I've tested some Wolf CMS, and I know that Wolf CMS has some remote code execution vulnerabilities, or has had some remote code execution vulnerabilities in the past. But in this case, the web app is not vulnerable, but the directory listing is enabled. So this actually means that we should probably look for some files or for some web directories, which in this case would mean that we have to brute force for web directories or stuff like that. Let's do the simple thing, robots.txt. There's nothing in there. The login, the admin is probably at admin or not. Where is the admin? Let's look at the source. Do you guys see anything in here? because I don't. So let's see, Wolf CMS admin page. Is it question mark admin? What's going on here? So question mark admin. There it is. So this is the admin page. And we need to find the username and the password. So in this case, we could use derb, derbbuster, gobuster, dersearch, whatever. Let's try using dersearch. Dersearch -- help. So we have the -u target, extensions. Where's the word list? -w. Okay. So dersearch -u. Copy the URL from here. Let's try without the question mark first. Control-Shift-V. And then we simply specify the word list. Let's do the most simple one, which is, so in Kali Linux, it's at user share word lists derb. Let's go for common.txt. This is probably the simplest one. It has, like, let's see, wc-l, so word count lines, user share word lists, derb common.txt. It has 4,600 lines, so this would go pretty fast. It's gonna go even faster if we specify that we need to go 200 threads, and we don't specify, if we don't specify any extension with the -e. Let's see if it works. You must specify at least one extension. I don't want to specify any extension, so I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna specify one extension. Let's say go for txt files. It's going pretty fast. We have cgi.bin, composer. Let's do the same thing with derb. Derb is pretty much simpler. So we'll say derb, we specify the URL, and then we specify the word list, user share without no parameters. User share word lists, derb common.txt. So dersearch already finished. We see robust.txt 0 bytes. We've already seen that. We also see php.info. That's interesting. So we have php info.php, and there you go. What I want to say is that in bug bounties, there is often the case that you are likely to find PHP infos on servers, and a very good way to automate this is by using a tool by TomNomNom to search for, I think it was Meg or something. So let's see, TomNomNom Meg, let's see, PHP info. Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Let's see. Anyways, look into the repository of tomnomnom on GitHub, and you'll see a lot of interesting tools. Let's go for PHP info. So you can automate that, and this would be a good way for you if you're into bug bounty hunting. Would be a good way for you to actually find some valid bugs. Anyways, so tomnomnoms is GitHub. A lot of good stuff in here. Okay, but we're not looking for PHP info here. We have the logo, license, index, composer, CGI bin, .hta. Let's see, .hta. Forbidden. CGI bin is also probably forbidden. Not found. Forbidden. Okay, what else? We have the server status, and we also have this public. What's going on with derb? It's still running, kind of slow. We could also use GoBuster, and the new GoBuster, not sure if you know guys, you have to specify the -dir, which is gonna search for directories, -u, Control-Shift-V, -w, user share word lists, derb common. Let's see if I got this right. It's not minus in this case, it's just GoBuster dir, and this is gonna run. So let me show you. It's GoBuster --help, and you see that it has dir, DNS, help, and vhosts. So you could specify, you could do GoBuster dir, and then you would do the other, the same thing that you did before this last update. Or if you want to go into DNS stuff, you do GoBuster DNS and then the DNS arguments or flags. We could do GoBuster DNS help, and we get the flags for the DNS, or GoBuster dir under --help, and we get all the flags and arguments available for the dir. But going back here, let's just run GoBuster. And this actually goes faster than derb here. Of course, I can also specify the threads. It goes with 10 by default. It's gonna go much faster if I specify, I don't know, maybe 50 threads. So let's look into the public thing. Public. And there you go, I guess. They also give us the URL. This is like CTF-ish stuff. Shit. So the password. I think this is what we had to do, right? Anyway, this was a simple exercise to learn how to use GoBuster and dir search. Your objective is to log in into the web app as admin and retrieve the user flag. So we were at admin with the username admin, and then the password pasted, enter, and the user flag, retrieve the flag, admin password. So I guess it's on the clipboard. Alright, that's done. So GoBuster also finished while derb is still running. So the bottom line here, use GoBuster or dir search. Okay, let me just stop this one now. So yeah, I guess that was it for today, and it's like 25 minutes overdue over the amount of time I wanted to go for this live stream. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'm just gonna call it a day. It's not too late here. I might do a little bit of bug hunting afterwards, and otherwise, I'd say that if you have suggestions for future live streams, or if you enjoy doing these challenges, these Python challenges on Edabit, and these penetration testing challenges on Attack Defense Labs, I'm going to keep on doing it. Also, I'm probably going to make a live stream with Michael LaSalvia on going through, we're going to try to select a real life scenario from Hack the Box, from the retired machines, or from a Vuln Hub. So yeah, I'm not sure when we're going to do that, but I'll keep you posted. So also, if you have suggestions for future live streams, what you want to see after this stream is finished, just leave your suggestions in the comments below. And with that said, thank you for watching, and hope to see you in the next live stream, guys. Peace out.